Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Kristen Peterson.
Good morning, everybody. How did you like that video? It gave a little more context to the complexity of running a business like the Lotus Formula One team. I am sure you have the exact same complexity in your business and a lot of different things that you need to attend to drive towards performance. I hope this morning that you got a really good sense for the focus we have on enabling you, our customers, to deliver amazing experiences to your customers. It is the heart and soul of everything we do. And I think when you saw this illustration from Kirill this morning, I think it really puts an emphasis on that. It's about how we market to customers, how we sell smarter, and then how we put care everywhere. And I know it's easy to categorize this as CRM and ERP, but it really cuts across everything. When we looked at the marketing demos this morning, think about the data that sits behind this and allows us to drive targeted marketing towards different customers. When we are selling things, imagine all the different channels we're going to sell to, the multi-channel, Omni-channel, and so forth. And finally, care everywhere. Care everywhere, and how that impacts customer experiences all the way down from the shop floor, where the people who are actually building products are probably the ones that have the most impact on a customer experience. You know, a bad product, I don't think there's anything worse to a customer experience than that. So underneath all of this, of course, lies a very, very efficient set of operational tools and technologies that can help ensure that we drive all these amazing experiences. So that is what this next hour is going to be mostly about. It's also going to be a lot about the enabling technologies. We were very, very excited to be the first, or bring the first customer to be the featured customers in our global advertising campaign that Kirill unveiled this morning. And when we look at the underlying technologies that we're really promoting in that advertising campaign, you'll see that the areas that you see on the slide right now, all the way from how we believe that social fabric is changing everything in terms of how you interact with customers, how you interact with each other within a company, and how we work together and communicate together. Obviously, insights is a huge element of this. You saw some fantastic examples this morning. We think that we're going to show you something today in the next hour that's going to blow you away in terms of where insights is going. But I want to, take the covers off a little bit already now and give you some examples of what we think we are going towards when we think about insight. How many of you have got a navigation system in your car? All right. How many had a navigation system 10 years ago in their car? Very few. Now, when you sit in your car today and you turn on your navigation system, or even just when you start the car going to work, 10 years ago, you were hoping for no ice on the roads, no snow, and no traffic jams or anything like that. When you go into your car today, your navigation system will automatically pick the route that is optimized, considering traffic situations, considering weather, and considering many other things. And what enables that is really a set of sensors everywhere that collects information that can be correlated together with your maps in your navigation system, and in that way pick the route that considers these things. It's all about sensors. You heard in this morning how the Lotus F1 team have more than 200 sensors on the car that constantly collects information, like massive amounts of information. And how you treat and how you're handling that and turning it into knowledge is a phenomenal challenge and a fantastic opportunity. Did you know that in 2012, 2.7 zettabytes of data was generated in the world? That is twice as much data as sits in the oceans around the world. And how do I calculate that? Well, there's 1.3 zettabytes of zetaliters of waters in the oceans. So in some ways you can say we are generating in 1 year twice the amount of water as in the oceans. Anyway, I know it's a little weird example, but so in order to accomplish all the things and really bring all these different elements together that I'm talking about, the underlying platform is very, very critical. We are seeing today that in many of the projects we engage in with you and with other customers, that the consolidation of systems, bringing them onto one common platform so we can really maximize the use of data, is a critical part of the projects. We are seeing consolidation of as much as 150, 200, 250 different systems, custom apps that have been developed that is now being put onto the Dynamics AX platform with the capabilities we provide, and it creates a whole new set of opportunities. Not the least, it generates tremendous productivity, and that's obviously a big focus for us. The productivity in itself, though, is something we believe that we have accomplished a lot with across the different Microsoft portfolio of products lately. But now the next phase would be to apply customer focus, customer experience focus in everything we also do in productivity. So with this, I'm really excited to invite my first guest on stage here. Let me invite Mark Todd from Kathmandu to join me.
G'day,
Mark,
Christian.
welcome.
Thank you.
And we have an extra thing to celebrate this morning.
Yes, indeed we do. Customer Excellence Award, fantastic for us.
Absolutely. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Please join me in congratulating Kathmandu and Mark Todd with the Customer Excellence Award for Retail. So, Mark, I want to welcome you to my living room. And I'm not actually kidding. My wife used to give me a hard time for always being in the office at home. And then we got all our mobile devices and so forth, and now I'm sitting in the living room and doing most of my work. So now she's complaining that I'm not in the office. I don't know if that sounds familiar.
Very familiar.
Very familiar.
6-hour time difference to back home. I've been doing it all morning. Yep.
All right. Mark, tell us a little bit about Kathmandu. I'm not sure the audience here really knows.
No, well, Kathmandu's an Australasian company. We specialise, we're a brand that sells travel and adventure gear for the outdoors and activities, primarily apparel, but also equipment. And we're a retail vertical as well. We have over 130 stores in Australia, New Zealand, and the UK.
So how are you looking at expansion? Because I know you didn't start out with this size just a few years ago. So what is the history and the growth pattern that you have seen with Kathmandu?
No, well, when I started 15 years ago, Kathmandu was a business that had 9 little stores and sold a 20th of what it sells today. So we've been on a growth path for 15 years. And the brand has continued to resonate with more and more everyday customers. So what we're obviously trying to do with our brand is move it forward in a wider sense, outside of the heritage outdoor market, into people who are focused on travel and activity and want to use good, resilient gear for everyday use all around the world.
So I know this has been a very strategic initiative, and you've been through a very strategic phase of Kathmandu. What is the role that technology has played in defining that strategy and pursuing the vision of the company?
Well, technology hasn't been as much an enabler as we'd want it to be in the past. We've always felt we've been growing and the technology's been behind us. So what we're trying to do now is take ourselves forward as an omni-channel retailer who can actually utilize technology to talk direct to our customers. As a vertical, our customer is every man, woman and child, so we've got to use the technology to connect with those people wherever they are.
So what does omni-channel really mean to Kathmandu?
Omni-channel means that in the end, our customers who talk with us and buy from us regularly can do so in the store, at home, when they're traveling, and can buy via the web, purchase goods, have it delivered to them wherever they want in the world at any time.
Okay. So what are your plans for the future?
Well, our plans is to move our brand forward outside of Australasia. We want to be the little brand that becomes big. And clearly for us, this market, Europe, all around the world is somewhere where we think this brand can go.
Are we going to see you here in the US?
Well, we certainly hope so. Yep.
All right. Please help me in congratulating Mark Todd and Kathmandu again for the Customer Excellence Award of the Year.
Thank you, Christian.
Thank you very much, Mark.
Cheers.
Thanks for joining me. So I think you've heard some examples here already about how Kathmandu is using technologies and how it plays a critical role in their expansion strategies over the next few years. Within Dynamics AX, the specific areas that we are really focusing on is around expanding businesses enabled by how you run it and of course, how you engage with customers. I'm very happy that we are here at this Convergence today and really starting to talk much more in detail about our next coming release. So let's take a look at a little video here.
You're running and driving a complex business, whether staying local or going global. Expand your reach with technology and tools to help you increase return on investment and lower total cost of ownership. Engage with customers in more places than ever before. Increase loyalty today while building your business for tomorrow. Through immersive, rich, personal, and amazing customer experiences. Powered by Microsoft Dynamics AX.
All right, so obviously that's what we're going to be talking a lot about at this conference, is Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 R3, which is our new release. Again, we're really focused on the three aspects of engage, run, and expand your business. Engagement goes all the way from how we engage with our customers on their terms. Most customers today, they do a lot of their shopping online, or at least explore the new capabilities and products online before they actually purchase. And we want to make sure that there's a connected experience between an online shopping experience, mobile shopping experience, social shopping experience, and not the least, an in-store shopping experience. In fact, we're learning from the customers that we work with that it's a real key differentiator to be able to offer that integrated experience, and not the least, make sure that there is a tremendous level of choice and flexibility in the options we provide to customers in that phase. Customers really, really are more demanding than ever when they want to buy from you, and we want to make sure that we enable that through our technologies. Obviously, the back-end processes and how you run a business needs to be super, super optimized and streamlined towards these experiences as well. As I mentioned earlier, a great customer experience, a great customer care agent doesn't help much if your production line is actually not producing great products. It doesn't help either if in the warehouse they're picking the wrong items and shipping them out to customers. And it doesn't help either if they're actually shipping the products to the wrong location. Not forgetting, one of the most common scenarios in a call center is customers inquiring or having complaints about invoices and credit cards that have been processed and so forth. All of this has a massive impact on customer experiences, and that's why we are so focused on that aspect as well. The two aspects of engage and run, we believe, are truly critical to then drive the expansion of any business. If you really want to expand rapidly, systematically, and in a very, very efficient way, you want to make sure you have those two areas covered, because otherwise you will just be, extra challenged as you drive towards your future expansion. So to talk with us a little bit more about this, I will welcome another customer on stage in a minute. But I want to share with you that our general availability of the next version of Dynamics AX is set at May 1st, and we will have an online event on April 10. So please help me welcome Bob White from Ashley Furniture. Bob, welcome.
Thank you.
Please join me in my living room here. And Bob, I hope you recognize some of the furniture here.
Yeah, it's great looking, isn't it?
Yeah. I think it's from Ashley Furniture.
Yeah, it's our product. Looks great on stage.
And I also want to thank you and Ashley Furniture for helping us, making sure that we can actually donate this to Habitat of Humanity after the event here. So we will be donating all the furniture we're using and so forth. So
we're happy to do it.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, a big hand to it. Bob, I'm not sure everybody here knows who Ashley Furniture is. Can you tell a little bit more about Ashley Furniture?
Sure. A couple of facts. We're the world's largest manufacturer of furniture. We produce and ship more than 35 million individual pieces of product every year on a global basis. We have the world's largest...
Did I hear that right?
35 million.
35 million pieces of furniture. Does that sound big to you?
Every year.
Right.
We have the world's largest upholstery facility under a single roof, 2 million square feet, or 46 acres, located in Mississippi. We just opened our 500th home store last month in North America. And lastly, we own our entire supply chain except for containers while they're on the water. We own everything else. We design it, we build it, we stock it, we ship it, and we deliver it.
So since you have that end-to-end ownership of your supply chain, you must have a massive amount of information about your customers, actually.
We do.
Can you share a little bit about some of the data points that you've been looking at lately that I know that you have been front and center for you?
Sure. We're data rich. We have a lot of information. The struggle has been, what do we do with that? And as we move towards and implement and take advantage of Omni-channel, Dynamics AX R3, we're finding that we now have a single view of the customer, and we're able to predict on a more realistic basis what she's looking for, what she wants online, whether it's a mobile device or coming into the store. And so we're able to be more proactive in how we deal with her. So big data is an important part of what we're doing. It's all part of our rollout for Omni-channel.
Okay. So you refer to your customer as she. Do you have more information about her?
Yes. We know that our customer is a she. She's female. She's 47.5 years old. Last year she was 47. So we know that she's getting older with us. So that tells us that we're not getting the younger customers and consumers. So we need to change our model. We need to change the way we interact with our consumer. So in order to do that, we have to implement a much better online experience. We know that through research, our furniture consumers will spend 4 to 8 weeks researching product online before they come into the store. So we want to make sure that that online experience is rich. They have access to product knowledge. They can all but just actually touch the product. And once they're ready to go, they're armed with the information. They can take that information into the store and then consummate the deal once they touch it and feel it and sit on it. So we're challenged to make sure that going forward, we want to go after the millennials. We want to go after the Generation Xers. And we're convinced that the only way to do that is to improve the online experience, the in-store experience, and mobile experience as well, all through Omni-channel.
Could you imagine that you would actually have multiple different online presences that were targeted to different audiences? So the way you showcase yourself in a commerce site for 20 to 30-year-old would be different than the ones for 40 to 50-year-olds?
Absolutely. In fact, through our implementation with Microsoft, we're actually going to be able to personalize the online experience. So through the clicking online, clickstream analysis, and actually in real time on our website, we're going to be able to understand where that consumer is going. And if they register online, we'll know a little bit more about them in terms of who they are, where they live. And as they browse our products, we'll be able to, in real time, very dynamically, change the look and feel of the website to suit them and be personalized.
Okay. So on that note, I actually want to share with you some of the new stuff that we're bringing to market with R3 and see if that can inspire you. I know you're doing a lot of this already, but maybe it can provide some new inspiration.
Sounds good.
Want to take a look?
Absolutely.
All right, let's take a look. So what we're looking at here is actually one rendition of an online storefront of Dynamics AX, and you can see we have different products that we're selling in this demo store. The cool thing about this is it comes directly from the product catalog that lives inside of Dynamics AX. So it's basically rendered on the fly. Now we could imagine that we would have different rendering depending on the audience that was actually looking at it, but we're not going to spend so much time on this. But this is really rendered on the fly based on the data that sits in AX. So one thing I wanted to take a little look at here is, for instance, if I look at computers and computer accessories, I've talked with my team a little bit about it, and we want to sell something in a retail environment as well. So we've actually created a set of Microsoft Dynamics accessories here. And one of them is a stylus pen that has all the captive stuff so you can use them. So I want to order a couple of those. Let me see, I'll just order the red one, picking that one. We also are introducing a new line of dynamic speakers. How does that sound?
Very good.
Right? I don't have a lot of money, so I'll actually just pick the cheapest speakers we have here. I want those in red as well. And I add them to my cart. So obviously, immediately I have my cart, and I can now go and check out from the cart here. Now, in my checkout, I provide all the different choices to customers on how they actually want to have them delivered. So in this case, I actually want to deliver by item. Because one of the things that really annoys me when I'm shopping for something, if I'm shopping for a present or a gift, I want that shipped to my aunt somewhere. But I always get inspired by something I want for myself as well. But now I can't put it on the same order, and that's annoying. So now I can put these things on the same order and make it a lot easier.
That's a great feature.
So I'll select delivery by items, and what I'll do for our stylus pen here, I'll actually have that, let's say, I'll pick up in store, and let's say that we're flying through Boston on the way home. Let me see if I can find this one. So I'll look what stores we have in the Boston area, and we can actually see we have a couple of stores here in Boston when it comes up in a second that carries this product. The unfortunate thing is that store number 1, they're out of stock, so obviously I don't want to have it there, so I'll pick it up in store number 2, and I'll just say done. And then I'll check my delivery presence for the speakers here, and I actually want to have them shipped. Interestingly enough, I'm going to have them shipped to the Philips Arena here in Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm not in a particular rush, so I'll just have standard shipment here. So now I have 2 different items that have different shipping, and obviously then when I check out, I can apply different things. I can apply, a discount code, and say we actually want to, we want to have a discount on these things, and have a coupon. I could use credit card. I actually have a gift card, so my gift card, I can check my gift card balance on it, and simply ask to apply the full amount to this particular purchase. So it's all paid by gift card, and I'm basically ready to submit my order.
Very nice. Very quick.
It's very quick, it's efficient, and you get the choices that you can provide.
You do.
Now, I mentioned that the pen is available for you if you fly through Boston on your way home, so you'll have to go pick it up there. The speakers, though, they're kind of custom. So actually what I would like to do with you is invite you over here to our little production environment. And be careful, because this thing is a little sharp. But what I'm going to show over here is our new shop floor control app. And the shop floor control app is really meant to close that gap that typically sits between the planning office and what goes on the shop floor. So I log into my shop floor app here, and immediately we'll be able to see that orders are processed that are ready for processing on the shop floor. And the order we just initiated is actually already here, and it has been tagged with high priority. I'm sure they know that we are doing this little presentation here. So obviously now on the shop floor, I go in and I view the details of this particular production of the speakers. I can actually go in and see the structural drawing of the speakers here, and see this is the design of these particular speakers, so I know what I'm gonna produce. And I can now simply start my production job, and if it all goes well, this thing is not gonna start. Because actually what is gonna start is a 3D printer that is running down in our production environment and printing out these speakers. So let's see if we have Matthew on our manufacturing floor.
Thanks, Christian. We're down here right now on the expo floor at the Microsoft Dynamics AX booth, and boy am I excited. We're turning this into something wonderful. We got your order, it's in the 3D printer right now. Let's go take a look. A lot of people might not realize, but Microsoft Dynamics AX can actually work with 3D printers. That's right, fantastic stuff, and we want everybody in the general session to come down afterwards, come check it out, place your own order, and have something 3D printed. Fantastic. Back to you, Christian. Cheers.
All right, awesome, Matthew. Thank you very much. In fact, we cheated a little bit, so I actually have a printed speaker right here that has been printed in a low-res version of our 3D printer. If you print it in high-res, it'll be much smoother. No. I know this has given you some ideas. You told me yesterday.
It does. I think this has a practical application in our stores. One of our challenges we face is with consumers in the store, they don't have a full appreciation for how the sofa might fit in a certain room in their house. And so they typically will hem and haw, or they'll have to go home, and then maybe they'll come back, maybe they won't. But an application like this, being able to provide them an actual replication miniature of a sofa with the dimensions of the room and take that home, that's fantastic. And oftentimes, you won't even have to go home. Hopefully, they'll purchase the product right there on the spot because they'll see how it fits. That's a great solution.
I was actually thinking that this particular speaker, you could even use it as a little footing under a couch as a replacement part, huh?
That's even a better idea.
All right, Bob, thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Christian. Thank you.
Now, obviously, Bob is traveling through Boston on the way home, as we talked about. And I wanted to show you what the experience will be for Bob when he actually comes to the store to pick up this particular item. So I'm going to log into our clienteling app here, which is the sales associate in the store will be using this particular app when Bob comes to pick up his stylus pen. And because it's already ordered, they can simply say, we're going to recall the order here. We're going to do an advanced search. Now, obviously, I made the order in my name, so I'm going to use my name to search with here. And it calls up the different orders. And the one order that has been placed for the stylus is the first order here. So we're going to simply have a pickup in store. And this is the, whoop, there we go. And now I can simply, check out this particular pen. We can see that there were speakers on the order as well, but the speakers are not part of this pickup order, so it's just a stylus pen. And instantly I can check it out. We can email the receipt, and we are good to go with the stylus pens. So this is really an example of the great experiences and the great set of choices that we actually provide customers in this area. Offer continued shopping and personalized experiences for customers is absolutely critical to the future, we believe. Having all the choices is fantastic. There's also going to be a lot of one-off requests for customers that says, like, now even if we pick these two different items, they're going to call into customer care, and we need to be able to change some delivery options on things that have already been ordered. So have that flexibility all along the way and help customers in their purchase cycle. We've all heard that the days of selling things are over. Now it's all about assisting customers in their buying process. So we're very, very excited about the new things we're bringing out, and I hope that this was a little demonstration of some of these things. As we bring out our next guest that you also met this morning, let's roll a little video.
1995, we really put in kind of the first craft brewery brew house that had automation in it, and we built on that since. We are able to leverage technology to brew, to make the beer, and to keep track of what's going on in production.
You don't have to do all of these things the way things were done before. You can do things that are good for the environment, good for the community, and still make money.
I think it's all about the experience. The beer just enhances it.
Not much cooler than working at a brewery, I'll just be honest.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome back on stage from New Belgium Brewery, Travis, Caitlin, and Melis. Good to see you again, Caitlin. Travis.
Hey, Kristen.
Very welcome. All right, welcome to my living room as well. Actually, if it was my living room, I would probably have some beers there instead of water. But I can only hope. So we heard a little bit about New Belgium Brewery this morning. I wanted to go a little deeper in some of the work that you're actually doing. So maybe, Travis, you wanted to talk a little bit about some of the focus areas you have from an IT perspective inside of New Belgium Brewery.
Yeah, we have a lot of focus areas. We have anything from brewery automation to back office to, we demoed a little bit of our app that our sales folks uses out there. So we don't source, make, or deliver beer without technology touching that.
Okay. Caitlin, swashbuckler queen, you got to tell us more about that.
So I support our rangers, our sales folks, and whatever they need to get the beer out there and to sell our beer, I provide them with a variety of tools, and so it's a little of everything, and so that's where swashbuckler comes from.
Okay, great. Melis, tell me a little bit about your job and what you're focusing on.
I manage the Dynamics AX product. We just implemented it in November of last year, so we've been learning and adding functionality as we go.
Okay. Now, in the spirit of the prior conversations, I also want to see if I can inspire you a little bit to some new things. So while I go back and talk to Travis, I actually wanted you to put these on so we can have a little bit of view of the audience as well, and we'll come back to that in a little bit. So in the meantime, Travis, can you tell me a little bit about some of the goals, the vision for New Belgium Brewery?
Yeah, definitely. As we're expanding to the East Coast, as I talked about in the keynote session, as we expand our supply chain, we need our technology to grow with us. And as we go to more population-dense areas of the East Coast, we need more sales folks, and we need to support them. So we're really looking for technology that's going to grow at the pace we're growing.
Okay. So Caitlin, I also heard from our conversation that you have a very, very special culture in the company. Can you talk a little bit more about?
Yeah, definitely. So, you know, like I was talking about, we are 100% employee owned, and you know, I think that's really special because it means that all 520 pair of hands are working towards the same thing, which is, of course, pleasing the customer. And we all take a lot of pride in making that happen.
Right. It's one of the things I actually heard from New Belgium Brewery. You have a lot of pride not only in serving the customers, but also how the company is perceived by the outside. So you really want to become a role model.
Yes.
How does that manifest itself?
Yeah, we do a lot of different things. We want to be a business role model as far as you can be a profitable business while also being sustainable. So we invest in a lot of renewable resources. We're always looking at ways that we can continuously improve our product, and we love to share that with other people within the business community.
Okay, so this is an open invitation to collaborate with New Belgium.
Definitely.
Wow, that's pretty good, huh? You want to collaborate with New Belgium Brewery?
And we could do it over beers, for sure.
All right. So Melis, I know that you're focusing a lot of the things on new stuff, so I wanted to see if I could inspire you a little bit, and that's why I gave you these glasses. So one of the things that we are coming out with in AX 2012 R3 is really warehouse management, transportation management, and so forth. So I wanted to see if I could inspire you a little bit with these glasses and see what it would mean for New Belgium Brewery if, for instance, you were using these types of glasses in your warehouse connected to Dynamics AX on the back end.
I think these would be amazing. We could use them for cycle counting, inventory control, picking and packing, and all hands-free. So that'd be great.
So does that mean that if you're picking something up in the warehouse, if you're picking up the wrong thing, you would actually get a beep, beep, beep in your glasses, and it'll say like, don't touch that one, you got to touch the batch next to it.
That'd be great for inventory accuracy for sure.
Okay.
And making sure we're shipping our customers the correct thing.
Right. So I know this is a little different in terms of what we've talked about in the past when we talk about devices, but actually when we talk about all these different new devices, it's also about wearable devices that's coming in, and it's really having an enablement in operational environments. Another area where we could really see this is actually here from a warehouse manager's perspective, where the dispatcher is now sending people around to pick things up in the warehouse. The dispatcher will actually be able to follow all his dispatchers, and if he wants to, he could actually tune into the glasses and see what the dispatchers are seeing, and they can guide them around in the actual warehouse. Another great example where we are seeing these smart glasses come into play is in field service environments, where you actually have field service agents out there that are working on a particular service order or something, and they can have a real-time connection, not only connection back to the mothership, but maybe they have certain guidance that appear in the glasses on that particular repair they are in the middle of. So that's some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
And we haven't even talked about how a watch could potentially be the one that controls the glasses, but we'll do that next year. How about that?
It sounds great.
All right. So some fantastic new opportunities here with what we bring out in AX. I also want to share some other new stuff with you, because now we've picked things in the warehouse. Let's imagine that we actually need to also ship this out. You do your own deliveries, trucks?
Within Fort Collins, we do distribute our own beer.
Right. How does that work today? Does the driver just get a slip?
Big truck, we use AX. We pick partial packs, load the trucks, and then they use a route accounting system to deliver to the accounts.
Okay. So let me show you another little new app that's really, this particular app has been built for truck drivers. These are the truck drivers making deliveries, and what I'm really excited about this particular app is not only it is an app for those drivers, But it's actually an app that has been built with the application or the app framework that we are now making available to all our customers and all our partners. So this particular app has been built in less than 15 hours based on that framework. So it's not a shipping app. It's an example of what can be built with this framework. So what we're looking at here, again, is a Windows 8 app. It's a modern app. And we can actually see the particular schedule for one of the drivers here. We can see he's got three routes to drive today, and there are 4 segments on the routes. We can actually see a map of the different places he needs to visit. So we're going to just pick the first delivery here. And in this one, we can see all the people that he would maybe have to communicate with around this delivery as he's in the truck. He's the driver himself. It could be the dispatcher. He needs to get hold of the shipper or the receiver. So all integrated, linked, and Skype directly from here. Of course, it's hands-free. So he's in the truck.
Always important.
We'll be able to actually use Bing Maps to zoom into where he needs to make the deliveries. And we can go all the way down here.
Wow, Christian, that's really great.
You think you could use this?
Yeah, definitely.
Are you shipping any beers to Safeco Field in Seattle?
We should be.
You should be.
Yes.
We have a little work to do. We'll make that happen. How about that?
Yeah.
Obviously, I can go in and look at the actual route of the delivery here. And it based, again, on Bing Maps, it suggests the route to drive, both out on the deliveries, but also back again. I don't know if you allow your drivers to make stops on the way, but maybe he want to add a Starbucks visit or something to it, but maybe some other time. So real helpful for the driver in and on themselves. Obviously, they can also they'll also be able to finish the actual delivery. So when they finish the delivery, they can take signature directly here on the device. And if something happened to the actual shipment, you know what? If something has gone really wrong with the shipment, we'll take a picture of it, and we can crop it and so forth.
I can really see that be very helpful.
Yeah. Do you have any delivery damages sometimes?
Unfortunately, yes.
From time to time.
Okay. So in that case, we can actually attach pictures to it, and then we simply submit, and the truck driver can now go on to his next delivery. How does that sound? 15 hours, guys.
Wow.
Now, one thing is to have efficient operations in your warehouse and production, have efficient shipping. But we also got to make sure that the product are actually available for customers. I know there's one thing that annoys me, and that is if I'm thirsty and I cannot get my beer, not a good thing.
We have problems.
So you'll probably need to take your glasses off now.
Yes.
But I want to invite you all over here and show you something really cool on the device here. So, Melis, I know as an ERP analyst, you're looking into a lot of these different things and how you can use ERP for new things. And I know you've been faced with some of the challenges that I'm going to talk about. So through the conversations with you, we really got inspired to create this little demo. So what I'm doing again, I'm using my PPI device here, and I'm just going to go into Excel. And actually, what we have in Excel here is an analysis of the forecast accuracy within New Belgium Brewery. Now it's mocked up data, so but you'll get the picture. You can actually see here that alcohol-free beer from a forecast accuracy perspective is red, so that's not good. We're looking pretty good on IPA, great beer by the way. Pale ale, we're somewhat good. So obviously it's important to understand a little better on how did we get into this situation and where does the inaccuracies come from. So let me try to drill down on this and look at a particular map that we call a power map. Obviously this is Power BI from Microsoft that is powering this, but it's all the underlying data from Dynamics AX that is surfacing here. So what we're doing now is we're really trying to correlate historic weather information with our ability to actually forecast accurately.
And the weather does make a difference, for
sure. The weather does make a difference, yes. I can tell. And we want to then see if we can combine that with a future-looking perspective when we do our forecasting. So I'm going to run simply a tour. This is a standard thing when you look at analysis over time. So now we're actually taking the weather data and we are overlaying weather and temperatures for each single day and combining that with our accuracy of our forecast. How does that look?
That looks excellent.
That looks pretty good. Actually, some of the things you can derive from this is that as it gets really hot here directly in the Bay Area, people start moving out to the colder coastal areas, and you'll see that the inaccuracies are mostly coming from alcohol-free beer, because people are obviously responsible. So if they're driving 2 hours to the beach and have to drive home, they're not going to drink beers with alcohol, right?
Yep.
So just a little example of how we can actually use analysis in completely new ways. So I'm going to just move this one.
It's great for other users that aren't necessarily in AX to have up-to-date information and be able to use the other tools that they're comfortable with, too.
And then the final thing I want to show you is it's not only about showing the data, it's actually about making actionable insights and actions out of it. So the analysis we just ran has actually gone back into our forecast engine in Dynamics AX, and it has now recommended to the forecaster some adjustments to make to the forecast that's already in there. And he or she can now manually adjust these suggestions and then submit them into the toolset.
That's cool.
How does that sound?
Sounds good.
So we
Very
never got,
helpful.
there's always going to be New Belgium beer available from now on.
Yeah.
We won't have any problems.
Sounds good.
Caitlin, thank you very much for
Christian.
joining us here. Travis.
Thank you.
Melis. All right, a big hand for New Belgium Brewery. Thank you. Okay. So what we just heard about here is really, again, how important it is through the operations aspect to accommodate these change requests. It's not only at the point of sale, it's how everything lines up, and how we need to make sure that the products are actually available. We need to have great products. They also need to be available. There's no fun in ordering something if you can't actually get it. And more than ever, people want instant, if possible, instant delivery of what they buy. And not the least, make sure that it's actually available at a very, very targeted price. Now, the one thing that really impresses me about New Belgium Brewery is how they are driving that customer centricity into everything they do in the company. No matter what your role is in New Belgium Brewery, you're focused on the customer experience. And that, I think, is really, really impressive. So if you have interest in diving a little deeper, Travis was actually really, really honest when he invited you to collaborate with New Belgium Brewery. So we are hearing from you, from our customers, about amazing achievements. One of the things that we are making available here at Convergence is actually a new total economic impact study that shows that 68% of you are getting massive impact from consolidating system as you implement Dynamics AX. Consolidating tons of different custom applications that have lived in silos and the efficiency that brings in terms of managing them, updating them, and getting insights out from them. 59% of you are actually saying that Dynamics AX is a key enabler for business transformations, just as we've heard some of our guests talk about here from Kathmandu and from Ashley Furniture, how enabling the technology actually is in driving that transformation. And finally, the actual time to value is very, very quick. Actually, to the point where the study shows a 92% return on investment within a 36-month period, but within 21 months, there's a total payback on the investment. So quick payback and even bigger return as we head into 36 months. So we believe that this is a very, very efficient way of using technology, and that is really what technology should do. Technology should enable the business, and it should support the goals of the business. And that brings me to the last of the 3 core pillars I wanted to talk about today, which is really about how to expand and expand rapidly. Now, growth and expansion comes in many different formats. It can be geographic growth. We want to grow into other areas of the world. New Belgium want to grow into the rest of the US first. Kathmandu wants to grow into the rest of the world, so on and so forth. And that growth can be enabled in many different ways, but characteristic of it, it has to be rapid. And that's where the use of cloud and other elements, even with a central management, as you've seen this morning and you'll see later here, becomes really, really critical. Not only in terms of how you can deploy the solutions themselves, but actually also how you manage them. If you have a centralized IT organization that manages multiple instances around the world, we are also enabling that through cloud deployments that you can really manage as a private cloud. The constant ability to also expand your product portfolio as necessary and as desired, and the way that you can rapidly do that, again supported by high operational efficiency in your back-end systems, is another key element that we're focusing on here. The ability to quickly adapt to change and changing environments is paramount. You know, there was a quote when I talked with Bob earlier yesterday. He said, like, what got you here won't get you there. And I really like that, because it doesn't matter how efficient your business has been and how successful it has been up to today. It's almost certain that things are going to rapidly change as we move forward. And the ability to constantly adapt to these changes, taking advantage of new opportunities, is critical, and you need software that can support you in doing that. And that innovation is critical from a product perspective, but it's also critical from a business perspective. You want to innovate the way you do business. You want to reach new channels. You want to reach your customers in different ways and differentiated ways. The way you speak to customers that are 20 to 30 years old may be very different from the customers from the way you want to talk to customers that are 40 to 50 years old. And that's what we need to enable, and we will and are enabling with Dynamics AX. So next, I would like to welcome Hal Howard, Corporate VP of Microsoft Dynamics AX, and Sri Srinivasan, who runs our development teams.
Hey, Christian.
Hal.
How you doing?
Thank you very much for joining. I'm doing great.
Hey, Christian. How are
Sri,
you?
good to see you.
All right.
So, Hal, first of all, I want to thank you so much for the great partnership from an R&D perspective and the great stuff that you're bringing out. You and I, we've been working together for quite a few years on this.
Yeah, at least 10 years on this.
At least 10 years.
Off and on. So, yeah, it's always great to see all our stories told in the context of these customers. I mean, we have fantastic customers on the product. You know, Ashley Furniture, New Belgium, and the work that Kathmandu is doing. Those were all great showcase stories for what we're doing with the product and what's going on out here. We were standing backstage, you know, thinking about enjoying a beer and picking out some clothing and looking forward to sitting on the furniture out here. So all good.
So Hal, I know that you are always focusing on customers, and that's really a privilege to work with R&D folks that are focused on customers. But I also got to say that what we are shipping now with AX 2012 R3 is probably quite a bit beyond what we had imagined we would ship in this release, right?
Yeah, it's very interesting, right? If you think back, especially if you reflect back 10 years, the whole AX General Session would have fit on this stage, right? I mean, the size of the stage and the backstage area is roughly the size of the room we did the General Session in 2 years ago, and now we're sitting in this arena with, you know, quite a few people talking about what we're doing. So we had big dreams for what we could accomplish, but I'm really happy with what we've accomplished, and R3 is just the next step on the journey to get us there.
Right. So one of the things that I believe that we have really accelerated is everything around cloud. Yep. Can you see? I know you always focus on the customers, but I want you to talk about technology now.
Sure. Well, I mean, obviously, the work we've been doing over just the last, you know, 2+ years with cloud, we're going to show you some of the work we're doing around Lifecycle Services, delivering a set of services in the cloud that help everybody implement, run, maintain their ongoing relationship with us and with the product, with help implement AX and all the work that's going on there. All of the companion apps you're seeing utilize the cloud as their connective tissue to actually get back to AX. So you don't have all the expensive extranets and all the work you used to have to do. Now with our cloud, we're able to enable those kinds of apps to be mobile apps. You know, your truck driver app, your expense app, all those sorts of apps now can communicate with your AX instance over the cloud. So those are all useful things. With R3, we'll certify AX for hosting on Azure, and you'll be able to run your entire environment in the cloud. So you can literally spin up a new AX environment in about 15 minutes, right, in the cloud. And you compare that to where we are today and what we're able to deliver. Cloud technology is really affecting the way we think about the product, the way we're delivering the product, and we'll be even bigger as we go forward. So it's been a real innovative space for us the last couple of years.
Full deployment in the cloud.
Full deployment in the cloud on Azure with R3. I think we're going to show it to you. So.
Yeah, and I think actually one thing that excites me, we have for a while we've had a lot of traction with the capabilities in the product, and quite often the first question I get when I sit with customers is like, how do you make me successful deploying it?
All right, well let's show you.
All right, let's take a look at that, Sri.
Okay, so our thinking around application lifecycle management has morphed over the years, and we continue to think of ways by which we want to accelerate the business value that customers see, make it faster, make it more seamless, and a couple of things have come together in terms of time frame for us. It's the power of the cloud. The technology set has morphed quite a bit, improved quite a bit, and then our AX metadata itself. The metadata-rich app plus the power of cloud enables us to do things we couldn't have imagined, I would say, even a year back.
Can I ask a question? Because I think you actually had a slide that shows some of these things. So can you just switch to the slide?
So we'll switch to the slides right away. There's few capabilities we are enabling with Lifecycle Services. One is how we define your experience, how we develop it, and how we operate. A customer kind of living in the production situation, and giving you an experience that basically is a full cycle. You operate for a while, you take on new bits, and you become effective. Simple things like knowing how to get to the next state upgrade in an effective manner, knowing what the payload from an update perspective is going to be is very important. And using the power of metadata, using the power of the cloud as a collective set to increase that business value cadence is an effective mechanism. And about a year back, we came up with Lifecycle Services. We've had about 3 or 4 monthly updates to it just in this year. And we'll continue the cadence of continuous innovation on it. I want to show some pieces of innovation. So why don't we switch to the...
Let me ask you one question. So is every single customer going to take and get advantage of this regardless of their current deployment?
Yeah, so every single AX 2012 customer, whether you're on 2012 standard, whether you're on R2, whether you're going to be on our new versions, is going to get the benefits of Lifecycle Services.
And the cloud. So everybody's going to benefit from the cloud. All right, let's take a look at this magnificent thing.
So quickly, if we go through these slides, one of the things we are enabling is we're taking the best practices in SureStep, combining it with the metadata in AX, powering it through the cloud, and allowing you to create a SureStep Agile project in Lifecycle Services. Once you create the project, you will have to do a few startup tasks like provisioning an environment on the cloud or provisioning an environment on-prem and connecting it to Lifecycle Services. Managing, when you get into SureStep methodology, you have to think about what kind of tooling, what kind of TFS mechanisms you have in place. So getting TFS wired in, whether it's CFS online or on-premise, those types of pieces will have to happen. And you'll use the power of business process modeling within Lifecycle Services to kind of get to a sprint view. A lot about agility is burn down and knowing where you are and using the power of burn down to figure out how fast you can deliver value to your end customers. So you'd end up with something like this, which is a burn down view of your gaps and how fast you can bring it to your business in a fast fashion. In the past, you would basically get a set of templates from us. Now we are automating and lighting up that template through the power of cloud. Okay. So 2 demos I want to go through is, as Hal said, let's show you the environment itself in the cloud, and a couple of other demos around talking to Microsoft on a real-time basis. Okay. So I'm in Lifecycle Services now. Kind of daring myself to do this out of production instances. So there's a set of demo environments here. One of the things you have to do is to connect your Azure certificates and subscription. It's a one-time activity. Once you've done that, we start pulling AX images into the cloud, and from there, deployment experience becomes easy. So let's deploy on the cloud.
Can we ensure we are on the right screen? I think we're not showing the right screen out there right now.
Okay. Can we? Okay. Let's see if this fixes it. Sorry about that. So going back, you have to get the subscriptions hooked up. And once you have the subscriptions hooked up, we copy the image libraries for the deployment itself. I'm not going to show the copy. It takes an hour or so. Let's start a deploy. And a deploy, in this particular case, we have a number of deployment options, canned deployment options like, a retail, a production, a disaster recovery type capability. Those types of models are coming up. We can hydrate a new, let's say, one for service industry or manufacturing pretty easily. It's cloud allows us to do that. So let's take a demo environment and start the deployment. It takes about 15 minutes to deploy. So I'm not going to go through the deployment experience for 15 minutes. But you can see it's deploying as we speak. So let's go into the Azure portal and connect to one of these boxes that I just hooked up in the back end while I was sitting there. And this should connect you to an environment. As you can see, it's connecting to the cloud through the network here. And it should bring up an AX client fully primed.
So whoever is stealing the bandwidth, please stop doing that. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Kind of. So I did bring up the vendor list page, and you can pretty much see that in about 15 minutes, you should be able to take a demo environment or a multi-box environment with your data set. If you prescribe and create the data set in advance, that whole deployment experience will be managed through the cloud. Okay? So that's one of the demos. So let's assume you have a set of questions as you go through business process configuration. And you have a set of questions or one question for Microsoft. And the act of creating the questions, act of getting yourself, your partner, and Microsoft all on the same page on the question can be challenging. When you come upon issues in the product, we want a more real-time experience. So since I'm in production, I have to do this in demo mode. Okay, so what I'm going to do is showcase the incidents in a demo capacity and pretty much add a support request. So in this particular case, the first thing it did is it figured out which versions you're running, which models you have installed. So all that information that you would send emails for is automatically collected through Lifecycle Services diagnostics.
Right. And Sri, it might be important to point out for people that haven't seen this is that you can actually connect this to any AX environment. It's not just the ones running in the cloud that you've deployed. You can actually connect it to any AX environment. It'll automatically do the inventory of the environment, what the underlying configuration is, and so forth. So when you report a support incident to us, it gives us all the information we need to do to turn it around very, very fast. So that those, stuff that used to take hours to get all the environmental data about the system so that we could replicate an issue for you, now is done in minutes.
Fantastic.
So, as Hal said, we can whether it's an on-premise or cloud, through LCS diagnostics, we pretty much capture all that information. So I put in expense report budget check. I remember getting into trouble with this very often with Hal. So it's that season, so let's put in that check. So the very first thing you get is deflection in terms of a set of information related to the types of cases that might already exist for the type of problem or type of question you have. In our early adopters, what we are seeing is about 65% of all issues seem to get resolved using this kind of a search mechanism that allows you to see what cases already exist.
65% before you even reach a support agent, anything?
Yep.
Wow.
So the next thing you do is, take this and, put it into the right classifications. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time putting the right classifications. I'm one of the guys who gives very little information, so I'll keep it to that. And I'm just going to create the case.
All right.
So what usually takes about 3-4 days sometimes to get the data to the partner and customer and Microsoft getting together, get the case in place, took about 30 seconds to create the case here. And the case has already reached Microsoft. And at this point in time, you can see the case and pretty much now create an environment if you want to show your configuration to Microsoft. And that environment gets managed through a lifecycle.
Right. And since Lifecycle Services is a customer-managed workspace, they can have partners invited to participate in the resolution as well.
Exactly.
Great stuff.
All the project team members, whether they're customer or partner, can participate in the process as a part of Lifecycle Services. We're piloting right now, we showed the cloud deployment capabilities of R3. We're piloting right now the ability to stand up a new environment to replicate the issues in. So we've managed to sort of, you asked us to talk about technology, we managed to turn it around into customer focus again, because this is about really helping our customers be successful with AX and get deployed very, very rapidly, and to have any issues that they run into along the way solved very, very quickly.
How does this sound? Does it sound good? All right, thank you very much, Sri. I want to shift back to you, Hal, because we just talked about all the great new stuff that's coming in R3 and how we are now shifting a lot of the deployment focus to automate it and simplify it and provide a lot more security in your implementation processes, so to speak.
Sure.
So where does that take us from here?
Well, obviously, I mean, this is the foundation for everything we're doing going forward. R3 is a great milestone along the way. It's going to, we've, over the course of the 2012 release, with all the minor releases have done, really set the foundation for the future in terms of what we're doing. We think we have a very robust set of application concepts, depth now in the warehouse area, depth now in production, depth in retail, all these different areas that we've advanced the app monumentally over the last 3 or 4 years in terms of what we're doing.
So I made a last-minute addition to the slides today.
Yeah.
Because I love this quote that came out in the press this morning.
Right. Yeah, I mean, essentially all the advancement we've done in the business logic data model, all the work we've done around deployment in the cloud and so forth, those all set the foundation for the next phase for us. The next stop for the R&D team after R3, obviously R3 is just now coming to market. Sometime later next year, we'll be talking about all the work we're doing around transforming the user experience of AX into an HTML5 delivered experience and really amping up the cloud delivery. But R3 is the baseline for all the work we've done there, so customers can feel comfortable that if they start with R3 today, they'll be able to take advantage of all the innovation we're doing in the cloud.
So the business logic, the data model is what
that's exactly what we're carrying over to the cloud scenarios. We'll continue to advance on that same baseline so that people can feel comfortable with their investment in AX today. We'll carry them to the cloud tomorrow.
Right. So I wanted to round out a little bit when we talk about the future starts today. I really encourage everybody here to, of course, spend a lot of time here at Convergence to look at these things. As you can see on this picture, we wouldn't mind you taking a lot of selfies and posting them to MS DynX. So go take some selfies at our 3D printers and so forth. In fact, we've really made an effort this time to make the expo area reflect all the stuff that you've seen in this session. So all the technologies we've showcased here, you can go see them at the expo area. You can go see our boardroom where we have PPI devices, and you can see how you can interact with BI. You can try all our apps. You can go to our manufacturing area and work with a 3D printer and even our 3D scanner. So
glasses from our partner APX Labs as well?
The cool glasses from APX Labs are going to be there as well. You have to sign a waiver before you put them on if you trip over something when you have them. But they will all be there, so go try it out. And with that, I really want to thank Sri, and I really want to thank Hal, and thank everybody for being here today. Have a great conference.